Hello guys, this is Ahura again, and I'm here to review what happened first financial market yesterday, what was the most important topics of yesterday, and what's going on right now in the market. And if you want to trade today on the Thursday, September 30th, and the last day of month, what we have to take care about. We know that the month is going to finish, this quarter is going to finish, and this is the last day, actually, the last day of the quarter. And from tomorrow, October, we will start the final quarter of the year. Yesterday, we had the online banking central banking summit, which held by Central Bank of the Europe. In this summit, we had Mr. Kuroda from Japan to speak. We had Bailey from Britain. We had Mr. Powell from the state, and we had Miss Lagarde from European Central Bank. The thing is that most of them they talked about the same similar topics that we know about. We are reading in all news in the past days. Shortage in Billy in the UK told that the shortage in the energy market and what's going on there, it's transitory and it's going to be end soon because of the unemployment benefits that they were paying. It's gone already, and the people they have to start finding a job, and it will help the people to go back to the job. And you know that they have a shortage in the labor market, especially in truck drivers. And then about the Japan, yesterday also the Japanese, the hundredth prime minister of the Japan, they selected hundreds. What's the name? Let me check the name. They selected the hundredth prime minister in the Japan, and he's going to start his government officially, his administration officially at October 4th. Mr. Kishida, Mr. Kishida is the hundredth prime minister of Japan, and he also talked about the new stimulus packages and new supports, which is kind of making the central bank of the Japan and the Japanese government a little bit different with the others. As you know, that most developed economies, central banks and the governments, they are trying to start a little bit hawkish policies. But in Japan, they're not just starting the hawkish policies; they are still adding a support from the central bank. Same thing that happened from the Chinese central bank over the past days. In that summit, Mr. Kuroda also told that the economy needs still help here in Japan, and we are still here to help. The problem, I mean, it's not the problem actually. The point is that in Japan, it's the only country right now between the developed economies that they don't have the inflation problem at all, and not just having the inflation, not just they don't have the inflation problem, higher inflation problem, they have low inflation problem. And even if the new stimulus and money injection in the market will not cause at the moment will not cause a problem there, because their inflation is under zero. They have negative inflation. Last month the inflation was 0. Negative under 0.2% actually. 0.2% under zero. So this is this negative balance, this negative inflation usually it's not good for the economy. And the prime minister also talked that they're going to change the situation in the state. As of American Central Bank, Mr. Powell, the Fed chair, told that what we have right now as a shortage in labor market, it is transitory, and this thing's going to be changed soon. And if not, firstly, we will start the tapering from November, and we still have the other tools like interest rates hike that we can talk about, that we can think about that. This the overall sentiment was hawkish, and the overall sentiment was caution mostly, and hawkish tones from the central bank's governors, which helped the market to go a little bit to the caution, to stay the caution and take things. Think about that the situation is changing. This one, as you see here in the chart, for example, what happened here. Let me see it. Look here in the chart. You can see that the market risk. This is a week's chart. The market risk stayed high still, and yesterday in the second part of the day the risk in the market was going a little bit low, but after this talks, after this conversation, these speeches, again the market risk increased, and still we have it above 21. Same for the US dollar, still descended. As if you remember yesterday morning we talked about that I'm waiting for the US dollar index above 94, and we talked about the third resistance tomorrow yesterday about the 94.13, that I thought I'm waiting to see the US dollar above this. We not just we touched all our goals, and today we have a little bit we can have a little bit slowdown in the US dollar market or US index, because the situation is a little bit calm here, because the thing is that most important details that till now we needed to know, they gave us a little bit more idea about what's going on in the market, so we don't need to worry about that much in the market. However, on the economic data today, let's talk about firstly yesterday. Yesterday, the data showed us that inflation in Europe, especially Spain and Italy, they touched 11 years and 12 years high, and inflation is really constant right now in Europe. As you know, in past 2 months, European didn't have that much inflation concerns, but they have it at the moment, they have it right now. However, Miss Lagarde yesterday in her speech in central bank summit, she told that we know that interest rate, we know that inflation is high and we have this inflation problem at the moment, but this inflation problem is transitory. Still, again, it's a transitory, and it's mostly because of shortage in energy market, and energy price is going to be will fall. We are waiting for inflation to start slow down, in especially second part, from the second part of in the second part actually the second part of 2022, and we will get back to our inflation targets. About the other data yesterday, we had energy market. We had EIA, energy market news also. EIA published its inventory report, as same as the IEA, same as the American Petroleum Institute. EIA, Energy Institute, also told to show that the last week, it was confusing. The last week we had we had oil inventories in the state increased rapidly. We didn't expect that. We were expecting to have another shortage, another decrease in inventory level, but it's increased more than 4 million barrels, same as the API 4.2. EIA reported 4.5 million barrels increase in American inventories. Pending home sale also it showed that the housing market still fine. Yesterday, pending home sale in August increased 8.1%, so much more than 1.4% of market estimates, and 2% losing the month earlier. But in August and in July, it was less under zero, 2% under zero. We had a negative pendings, negative selling. But right now in August, we have positive data that shows that the housing market is going fine. This data, with today's expected data from the state, supposed to put a little bit more pressure on US dollar. That's why I'm telling that the US dollar, it's going probably can decrease here. We may see the US dollar today to today's second support at 90, something like 93.89 and 93.85, something about here. That so far today about the economic data, so far today we had manufacturing PMI numbers from China. The official purchasing manager index in China fell under 50, which is for the very first time in the past 5 or 6 months, and we didn't have that. And even maybe more, like I can check. But manufacturing data in a private section still above 50 and a little bit more than expectation. The market expectation was at 49.5, and the actual number is at 50. PMI numbers, the purchasing manager index, yeah, it is fall under 50 for very first time in more than a year. Yeah. In the past year, we didn't have it under 50, and it's the lowest number since. Oh, even the September. No, it's the lowest number. So yeah, I can see the previous one, which was under 50. It was February. Yeah, we had in February 2020 that we had it at 35.7, and after that we never had it under 50, and now it's the very first time from last February that we see Chinese PMI number under 50. Today this manufacturing PMI numbers, manufacturing purchasing number from China tells us that they give us just like a kind of mixed outlook from the Chinese economy, and it caused that as we see in the stock market, Shanghai index is increased 0.2% in Asia, while we can see that, while we can see the Nikkei is falling 0.4% and Hang Seng 0.9% is falling, but Shanghai is increasing 0.3%. Says that this data, the only thing that tell us that the data is the market is mixed. Besides that, and after that, later today we will have GDP numbers from UK, which is very important to see the GDP numbers from UK, the final number for the second quarter. What we are expecting to see 4.8% increase in just like confirming the earlier expectations, earlier estimates at 4.8%, and same GDP number later we will have from the States. But before going to the state of the North American market, I have to inform about French inflation in French. We are waiting for the inflation numbers in the French, and then again Mr. Kuroda will have the speech at early morning today by the US time, and something like something like what time is. It was like midday in Europe and early morning in the state. German unemployment data, German employment numbers and unemployment rate is one of the most important data in Europe that we have to watch. Germany is the biggest economy in Europe. As we see that this German economic data, this is Euro USD. German economic data that we have with a little bit ease in the US dollar chart will help the Euro USD to recover some of its loss from yesterday, and we can see we probably can see this recovery above second resistance at 1.16, almost under 1680, above a little bit more than second resistance. It's something like yesterday's 1680. Some yesterday's pivot points. We probably can see the Euro USD to recover to this level, and for the gold also to recover a little bit more than current level, and see the gold at a little bit higher levels. This is probably can happen today, and the gold will probably go till 1,745, 50. This is the areas that we are waiting for, the 44, 45, and 50, above something like above second resistance, with this expected data from the Germany and current data from the what we had from Asia, from Japan, from China, and also as all Thursday today we have an initial jobless number. Initial jobless number in past 3 weeks was increasing, and this week also we are expecting to see the initial jobless to increase at 355,000, and see a little bit the labor market. Another negative data in the labor market that says that the labor market still has some challenges to get back its position and to find its a little bit in a better situation. And Besides that, we have today again the Fed speakers. Mr. Williams will speak. We have we shouldn't forget about the Chicago Purchasing Manager Index as well. But we will have the Chicago. We'll have the Fed members speak from Mr. Williams, from Mr. Bostic, and Mr. Chicago Fed President Mr. Evans. But initial jobless number and GDP from the economic data, they will be the most important numbers here. However, we should not forget about the auction today. We have the 4-week bill auction and 8-week bill auction. We have these auctions today, and probably they will help they can help the rates to increase a little bit. As we know, yesterday the rates in all over the world, not just in the state, the rates in Germany, even in Italy, they all increased. Yesterday we had raised rates about 1.54 something like that percent for the 10 years bond yields, and today is decreasing. This changes created brought a little bit these numbers. Made some changes in the market. For example, increasing in the U.S. inventories helped the U.S. oil inventories, limited the market pools in oil market. The oil market after free fall was trying to kind of support itself and get back its loss, but after almost 50% recovery, a little bit more than 50% recovery, this EIA numbers that showed us 4.5 million barrels increase in U.S. inventories stopped the bulls and caused the side movement here. For today, we are waiting for the side movement around 74 and 75 US dollar for the spot oil. Yes, about the indexes. S&P 500 yesterday had almost 0.2% or 0.3% increase yesterday. Almost kind of side movement. We can say the side movement yesterday that we had. For today, according to the data that we are reading and according to the speech that yesterday we had, we can see a little bit recovery in the stock market. Futures will recover ahead of the cash market, and the cash market will tell us what's going to happen. Yesterday the tech stocks and Boeing helped the market to increase. Boeing increased almost 4% and helped the tech stocks also recover a little bit from the earlier days in a week. And all these numbers together help the stock market to recover. So that's why we can see the recovery, a little bit recovery in the S&P 500 and Nasdaq. But the Nasdaq, but the Nasdaq a little bit. Just the tech stocks, Dow Jones and S&P 500 got more supported because of some other countries, not just the tech stocks, but that's why the Nasdaq support was a little bit less, and today it's increasing, however. But the Dow Jones and S&P 500 had a better situation right now, so they are in a recovery mood, and we can see a little bit of recovery here. This is general on the cryptocurrency market. The cryptocurrency market, we can see the Bitcoin to a little bit recovery after yesterday's fall. The news about the China from the Bitcoin shifted to the Ethereum. Right now they are focusing on Ethereum and about the Ethereum mining and things that we had about Ethereum. So that's why market kind of ignored this negative news and the data from China about the market generally. So it helped the market to recover itself, and we can see some recovery in the Bitcoin. However, this recovery still cannot change the market sentiment, and still market sentiment is a negative in midterm as long as we are not above 45k. Bitcoin still moves and trades in a negative zone. So this is the general same thing we have for Ripple, for Ethereum, and all they are going to the same situation. So today, what you need to just to remind again, today we need to focus first of all on after the current data, we need to focus on GDP number from UK. We need to focus on especially on Euro traders. They need to focus on German's employment numbers, which is very important, and French inflation numbers can be also important, but mostly German inflation numbers. They are very, very, very important. And then later in Italy also we have the inflation numbers, but still the focus will be on US GDP numbers. After that, early we have the UK GDP number, later we have US GDP numbers, and initial jobless claim. We are waiting for the third week to see just like unemployment is a little bit increasing, and it's a normal kind of right now after the summer ended, the short-term jobs is gone, and it's a little bit putting on pressure the labor market. So, and then we will have the PCE numbers, PCE price actually, PCE price numbers from the state. However, the Chicago PMI should be also taken care by them, but we can say that the Fed speaker is also important, but since last days we had most of these speakers spoke, and yesterday they told their idea. So while it is important, it's not going to be that much important. Already they told what they have to say. So generally, we are waiting the Federal Reserve to start tapering sometimes around December in 2021, and start rate hikes at 2020, 2022, at least one, just like one interest rates, one interest rate hikes we will have in 2022, at least one. This is just general idea what we understood from the response of their speeches in the last days. Thank you guys, and hope you will have amazing trades today. Take care and see you tomorrow again.